Hello grade 10 learners. Let this video guide you in understanding Module 4C with the topic Determining the sum of the terms of a finite geometric sequence. Find the partial sum of terms of a geometric sequence. If the common ratio is not equal to 1, we may use any of these two formula. So we have S sub n is equal to A sub 1 times the quantity 1 minus r raised to n all over 1 minus r, or A sub 1 minus A sub n times r all over 1 minus r, where r is the common ratio of the given geometric sequence, A sub 1 is the first term, and n is the position. If r is equal to 1, we use S sub n is equal to n times A sub 1. And if r is equal to negative 1, we have S sub n is equal to 0 if n is even, and equal to A sub 1 if n is odd. Now, para mas maintindihan kung paano i-apply yung mga given formulas, let's have the following examples. Find the sum of the first 5 terms of the sequence 2, 8, 32, and so on. So, actually, pwede naman nating makuha ang sum of the first 5 terms. So, kunin mo lang yung first 5 terms na itong sequence na to, and then plus-plus nyo lang using the calculator, ano. Pero, para maipakita kung paano gamitin ang formula, so, ipapakita ko sa inyo kung paano siya isolve. So, of all the given formulas na naibigay kanina, so we will use the first formula because ang r natin is not equal to 1. The common ratio is not equal to 1. In this case, ang common ratio natin ay 4 kasi 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4, o kaya 32 divided by 8 is equal to 4. So, first we need to identify yung r, A sub 1, and n. So, nahanap na natin yung r kanina, and that is 4. Then, first term natin ay 2, at ang n natin is 5, kasi first 5 terms, sum of the first 5 terms ang hinahanap natin. Now, after identifying the values, i-substitute natin sila dito sa formula. So, meron tayong S sub 5, or the sum of the first 5 terms is equal to A sub 1 ay 2, times quantity 1, given na siya dun sa formula, minus ang r natin kanina ay 4, raised to the 5th power, all over 1 minus the common ratio of 4. And then, simplify natin. Now, we have here, ang una natin simplify itong expression na may exponent. So, 4 raised to 5 muna, or 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Okay? Hindi siya 1 minus 4 tas raised to the 5th power, ha? Again, at yung exponent na 5 ay nandito siya sa common ratio natin. Okay, so meron tayong 1024. Then we have 2 times quantity 1 minus 1024 all over. Saan galing si negative 3, sinubtract natin itong nasa denominator. So, we have 1 minus 4 is negative 3. And then, simplify pa natin yung nasa loob ng parentheses. So, 1 minus 1024 magiging negative 1023 times 2, itong 2 na nasa labas, all over negative 3. Then, to solve for the sum, so, the sum of 5 terms, so, times muna natin itong dalawa, then divide natin by negative 3. So, the answer is S sub 5 is equal to 682. Let's have another example. Find the sum of the first 6 terms of the sequence 1,000, 500, 250, and so on. Identify muna natin ang common ratio para alam natin kung alin doon sa mga formulas kanina ang gagamitin natin. So, 500 divided by 1,000 o kaya 250 divided by 500. So, the common ratio is 1/2. So, gagamitin natin yung first formula kasi diba ang condition doon, if the common ratio is not equal to 1, so we use the first formula. Okay? So we have S sub n is equal to a sub 1 times 1 minus r raised to n all over 1 minus r. So, na-identify na natin ang common ratio. Identify natin ang a sub 1 and n. Ang a sub 1 natin is the first term and that is 1,000. At ang n natin ay 6 kasi ang hinahanap nating sum is the sum of the first 6 terms. So pag na-identify na ang values, i-substitute natin sila sa formula natin. So we have S sub 6, sum of the first 6 terms, is equal to, a sub 1 natin ay 1,000, times the quantity 1 minus, ang common ratio natin ay 1/2. So 1/2 raised to the 6th power all over 1 minus the common ratio na 1/2. So, gumamit tayo ng brackets kasi gumamit na tayo ng parentheses sa fraction natin na common ratio. Okay, para mas maayos tingnan yung grouping symbols natin. Okay, o yung pag-group natin ng expressions. Then yung isi-simplify, syempre, itong may exponent. So, 6 na beses, imumultiply ang 1/2 sa sarili niya. So, 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. Pwede yon. Kaya naman, applying the law of exponent, i-distribute natin si exponent na 6 sa numerator at sa denominator. So, bale parang magiging 1 raised to the 6th power siya over 2 over 2 raised to the 6th power. So, pwedeng ganon, i-simplify nyo siya. Okay, so ang magiging kalabasan nun ay etong next solution natin, 1 over 64. Kasi 1 raised to 6 ay 1, then 2 raised to 6 ay 64. So, copy muna natin si 1,000 times 1 minus 1 over 64 all over 1 minus 1/2. So, itong nasa denominator, pwede nyo na itong i-simplify na, no? I-subtract na. So, 1 minus 1/2 is 1/2. Then, we have 1,000 times, saan galing ito 63 over 64. So, dito siya sa 1 minus 1 over 64. So, paano siya naging 63 over 64? Itong 1, in-express natin into fraction na 64 over 64. Bakit 64? Pwede namang ibang number. So, 64 ang ginamit natin as numerator and denominator kasi yung isasubtract natin na fraction ay may 64 na denominator. So, tandaan ninyo kung naalala nyo, diba? Kapag nag-add and nagsasubtract tayo ng fractions, ang pwede lang natin i-add and subtract is yung magkapareho ng denominators. So, para hindi na kayo mag-LCD, so gamitin nyo na yung given denominator as numerator and denominator ng 1. So, we have 64 over 64, 1 pa rin naman ang value niya. So, in-express lang natin as fraction. So, we have 64 over 64 minus, so 1 over 64. So, dun ang galing yung 63 over 64. So, subtract lang natin yung numerators. So, 64 minus 1 is 63. Ito siya. Then, simply copy the common denominator is 64. Okay? Tapos, ayan na. So, times na natin itong 63 over 64 by 1,000. So, 1,000 times 63 over 64. And that is kung hindi tayo magka-cancellation na lang, no? So, kung direct yung ating pag-multiply, so, i-multiply natin si 1,000 kay 63, no? So, that is 6,000, 63,000. Then, over 64. So, si 1,000, minultiply na lang natin kay 63. Then, we simply copy the denominator na 64. So, ito yung simplified form nitong nasa taas. Then, divided by 1/2. So, applying yung pag-divide ng fraction. So, magkakaroon pa ng reciprocal dyan and then cancellation. Or pwede rin namang using your calculator, pwedeng direct nyo nang gamitin or i-solve itong 63,000 over 64 divided by 1/2. So the answer is 7,875 all over 4. Next, evaluate 12 plus 36 plus 108 plus 324 plus 972 plus 2,916 plus 8,748. So, meron tayong given na finite geometric sequence and then you're asked to evaluate. So, ang gagawin lang is we add all the terms, no? So, pwede naman yon directly using our calculator. So, pwede nyo i-add, makukuha nyo na agad ang sagot. Pero, for the sake of showing how to evaluate this geometric sequence using our formula, so, ipapakita natin yung solution. Now, since ang last term ay given, so, pwede natin gamitin yung, di ba sa first formula, dalawa yung pwede nyo pagpilian. Yung pangalawang formula doon, yung if r is not equal to 1, yung second formula yung gagamitin natin. And that is a sub 1 minus a sub n times r all over 1 minus r. So, identify muna natin ang first term, 12. A sub n is the last term and that is 8,748 times r. So, ang common ratio natin ay, so, pili lang kayo ng dalawang magkasunod. So, para mas madaling isolve, ito na lang yung dalawang mababa. So, 36 divided by 12 is 3. So, the common ratio is 3. So, once identify ang values, i-substitute na natin siya sa ating formula. So, we have the sum of the 7. Bakit 7 yung n natin? Kasi 7 terms ang meron dito sa ating example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, sum of the 7 terms equals, first term ay 12, minus the product of the last term and the common ratio. So, we have 8,748 times 3 all over 1 minus the common ratio 3. So, yan. Simplify natin. Unahin nyo munang i-multiply itong dalawang numbers. So, 8,748 times 3, the answer is 26,244. So, we have 12 minus 26,244. All over 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Next, i-simplify natin itong numerator. So, we have 12 minus 26,244. Magiging negative na siya kasi maliit. Babawasan ng malaki, no? So, negative 26,232. Then, divide natin by negative 2. So, same sign. So, the answer is positive. So, pag dinivide natin, the sum is 13,116. Find the sum of the first 15 terms of the sequence 9, 9, 9, 9, and so on. So, pare-pareho yung ating terms, no? Pero, in this case, so pag pare-pareho yung terms, pati yung mga sign niya, the common ratio is 1. So, 9 divided by 9 ay 1, 9 divided by 9, 1. So, pare-pareho lang yon. So, the common ratio is 1. So, gagamitin natin yung second formula. Yung if r is equal to 1, ang formula natin ay S sub n is equal to n times a sub 1. So, ano yung n at ano yung a sub 1 natin? Ang n natin ay 15 kasi ang hinahanap natin ay sum of the first 15 terms. At ang a sub 1 natin ay 9 or the first term. So, applying the formula, we have sum of the 15 terms, first 15 terms is equal to 15 times 9. First number of terms times the first term. So, 15 times 9. Therefore, the sum of the first 15 terms of the sequence is 135. Next, find the sum of the first 18 terms of the sequence negative 2/3, negative 2/3, negative 2/3, and so on. So, kung mapapansin nyo, pare-pareho yung terms at pare-pareho yung sign nila mismo. Therefore, the common ratio is 1. So, we will use again the same formula na ginamit natin kanina. S sub n is equal to n times a sub 1. Ang n natin ay 18 kasi sum of the first 18 terms. At ang first term natin ay negative 2/3. Now, we multiply 18 times negative 2/3. Pwede rin naman kayong mag-cancellation dito, no? So, 18 tsaka 3. So, 18 divided by 3. Pwede to, no? And that is 6. So, ang naiwan na lang ay 6 times negative 2. Therefore, the sum of the first 18 terms is negative 12. Find the sum of the first 8 terms of the sequence. Negative 5, 5, negative 5, 5. So, pare-pareho yung terms, yun nga lang, ang sign niya ay alternate. So, ang common ratio natin ay negative 1. So, to check, no, 5 divided by negative 5 is negative 1. Kaya naman, negative 5 divided by 5 is still negative 1. So, again, pare-pareho yung mga numerical values ng terms, pero alternate ang sign. Negative, positive, negative, positive. So, the common ratio is negative 1. So, since the common ratio is negative 1, gagamitin natin yung huling concept na pinresent ko kanina doon sa mga formula. Okay, and that is, the sum is nakadepende kung odd or even ang n natin. Now, ang n natin dito ay 8. Kasi hinahanap natin yung sum of the first 8 terms. So, pwede nating i-analyze muna. So, since 8 terms yung sequence, kapag pinagpares natin itong yung terms na tigda-dalawa, no? Negative 5 plus 5, this is 0. Tapos negative 5, 5, this is also 0. So, kahit magsulat ka pa ng 8, ng 5th, 6th, 7th, 8 terms. So, di ba, ang susunod dito ay negative 5, 5, negative 5, 5. Tama ba? Okay. So, pag pinagpares mo ito, pag inadd mo itong dalawang magkasunod na terms, this is still 0. Then, this is also 0, yung 8 terms. So, ang idea dito is kapag kayong mga terms, if the common ratio is negative 1, at yung bilang ng terms ay pwede nating i-pair, and yung kada pair ay 0, so definitely the sum is 0. So, halimbawa, sum of the first, kahit pa sabihin mong 100 terms, so no need to list down all the 100 terms. So, ang 100 ay even, kasi pwede mong i-pair yung mga terms na equal to 0. So, the sum is 0. So, paano naman kapag odd ang terms? So, hindi mo siya pwedeng ipares-pares tulad nito. Find the sum of the first 11 terms of the sequence. So, kung i-imagine ninyo, 11, mapaparis mo yung hanggang 10 na terms, may iwan na isang term. Yun yung ika-11 term. At ang ika-11 term ay kapareho lang ng first term. Therefore, the sum of the first 11 terms is equal to negative 5 or the first term. So, tandaan, if the common ratio is negative 1 and we are adding an even number of terms. So, ano yung even? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on. Yung mga divisible by 2, so the sum is always equal to 0. Kasi pwede mong ipares-pares yung tigda-dalawang terms na ang sum ay 0. Okay? Pero, if we are adding odd number of terms, ano yung odd numbers? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on. the sum of the terms is always equal to the first term. Even, 0. Pag odd naman ay first term, provided that the common ratio is equal to -1. Happy learning!